So I was in the courtroom where this trial is taking place, and I was sitting right behind Cassie Ventura's husband, and I watched him as he sort of glared at Sean Combs at times, at the family, especially during the period of time where the prosecution showed photos of 13 men, different races, predominantly black men. These are all men that Cassie was able to identify in terms of names sometimes and where these freak-offs, these alleged freak-offs took place from cities like LA, Miami, New York, Las Vegas, etc. I can only imagine how painful it must be to sit there and listen to that testimony regarding your wife and the number of people that she says she had sex with because of these freak-offs. Something else worth noting is that Ventura continues to say this was all about what Sean Combs wanted. So today she mentioned that she said she primarily reached out to the escorts, but says that was her job and Combs expected her to do so. We'll, of course, have more with the testimony that's still happening right now inside federal court.
We got through the jury selection. We got through opening statements from both sides, the defendants and the prosecutors. And we also heard from 2 witnesses. Now, I just turned my phones on, and already the headlines that I'm seeing are people talking about the male escort and what was claimed by the male escort, right? There were claims of who made who urinate on who, whether Diddy, Cassie, who told who to do what. There were conversations about jealousy between Cassie and Kim Porter, and this being just a toxic relationship, and domestic violence and assault being things that Diddy is willing to own up to, but trafficking and all the other things being things that he is not willing to own up to. There's a lot to break down from today. It was very detailed. Now let's get into the whole peeing in the mouth by the escort. So on the stand, the prosecution did allege that Cassie is going to testify that Puff allegedly had made a male escort pee in her mouth. That is what they alleged in their opening statements. There was an escort that got on the stand as a witness. During this testimony, this escort talked about being made to pee in Cassie's mouth. But this witness says that it was Cassie who asked him to do that, and that Puff was watching, and honestly, that was stricken. Like, the jurors, when he got into, like, cause he was speaking directly about Cassie and the fact that Cassie allegedly asked him to do it. And that's why he did it. And he was saying that at first he didn't know how to do it. Like, he was just like peeing like he normally pees. And that Cassie, along with Puff, was basically telling him, like, slow down, like, don't let it all come out at one point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're really peeing. And then that one line I just said about him saying what Puff and Cassie said to him together about that was stricken from the jurors. Like, they're not even allowed to use that, because his original conversation around this was Cassie asked him to do that, allegedly. And that Cassie was like the mastermind behind that. Cassie is going to testify, and that's going to happen this week. To be honest with y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens tomorrow. So the prosecutor's opening statements are being picked up, but there was a witness on the stand that changed that whole story.
Oh, you think it's funny, bitch? This is pimping here. I've been on Wheel of Fortune, Prices Right. Oh, bitch, it's funny. Come on with it.
Ventura says Sean would want it to put on his butt. Oh, nah. Diddy is gay. Diddy, you gay as fuck. This is up there with Kanye sucking his cousin's dick. Oh, my God. Diddy would have a nigga nut on his bitch and tell his bitch, bring that nut over here and come rub it on me. Lather me up in that semen. Lather me up in that seminal fluid. What? Hey, memes, get me this. Oh, hell nah. Hell to the no-no. What the fuck? This the wildest shit I've ever seen. What? Hold on. Nah, this is crazy, chat. Diddy is Diddy gay. Diddy gay.
We don't give a fuck.
Jesus.
We don't give a fuck.
Okay, Christian, Jesse, Delilah, guys, to the microphone.
We want to hear from you.
Miss Combs, how you feeling?
Miss Combs. Miss Combs. That's fine.
Sex crimes trial of Sean Diddy Combs. The prosecution's star witness, ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, seen in that disturbing hotel security video where Combs was physically attacking her. Ventura with graphic testimony about alleged drug-fueled parties known as freak-offs and sexual encounters with the hip-hop mogul. Let's get out to News Nation's Caitlin Becker outside the federal courthouse there in New York City. And Caitlin, what is happening on this now day 2 of this trial?
Well, Nicole, right now things are getting pretty emotional for Cassie Ventura on the stand as she recalls for the jury participating in these sometimes days-long freak-offs, sexual escapades organized by Sean Combs that she said made her feel dirty and worthless. She felt like she didn't have anything else to offer when she was being forced, she said, to participate in them, telling the jury that they would be at some point happening almost weekly and completely overtaking her career as an artist for Bad Boy Records. Of course, the record label owned and operated by Sean Diddy Combs, who was also her boyfriend at the time. So you can see how the government here is laying out the control that they claim Diddy had over Cassie's entire life, over her personal life, her career, down to controlling what she wore, what she looked like. She said if she was being quote unquote punished, his security detail would take away her devices. They would take away access to her iPad and her phone and her computer and would give them back to her only when she said she was done being punished. She was choking back tears at one point on the stand. And also, Nicole, we're hearing her describe her interactions with people who worked for Diddy, who worked for Sean Combs during this process. Now, to lay out his work relationships and this quote unquote enterprise that they need to establish, this all goes to that racketeering charge. The government needs to prove that he did the things that they're accusing him of, the alleged sex trafficking, the alleged forced prostitution, things like that, all while they say operating like a criminal enterprise, like a criminal business. So you see them kind of laying that out right now, but it's all during this very emotional testimony from Cassie Ventura, who is 9 months pregnant on the stand. She has, needs to take a break here and there. They're only going to question her for 90-minute chunks, so she has time to do that. This is the first time she and Diddy have seen each other since they broke up some 6 years ago. He did clock her, and look right at her when she walked by him in the courtroom as she was taking the witness stand. Initially, she did not turn and look at him. And during her testimony, he's been diligently taking notes of a lot of different things she said, particularly when she talks about their sexual escapades, as well as certain aspects of the violence that she says she incurred at his hands. Now, remember, we're only getting direct examination now. And Nicole, we expect this testimony to take the entire week. So his defense team has not yet had an opportunity to kind of pepper her with their questions, to impeach her on some of the things that she's been saying here to defend their client. So we're really only getting the prosecution's case at this point, Nicole.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
There's no hustle, there's no marketing, I'm living my truth, and it's time.
So you were in that coma in 2022. You had the liver transplant, you had the tracheotomy, all that stuff that went on.
Multi-system organ failure.
Yeah,
60.
Right. Have they figured out what happened yet?
We will.
No, I mean, have the doctors medically, what happened to you?
Yeah,
because you just collapsed, right?
Yeah, so, just mysteriously out of the blue, which we do talk about in the book.
Yes.
I
want to get into
what that process is. But, so it's been quite a journey. And as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through almost, more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking? Really? What's wrong with you? No way. Not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
Because you were hinting, saying,
posting. I get calls, take it down, or else, so on and so forth.
But this is about Diddy, so let's be clear for everybody that doesn't know.
Diddy, who's about to, his trial's about to start. Yeah,
yes.
They're selecting a jury.
But you were on this train years ago.
Yes, many, many years ago. I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand
why. Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, all having a great time. And I'm, grabbing Sean like, what? And she's in the back going, stop, So it was a really festive opportunity just for all of us to be together, because it's nothing like the circus that's out here. So it was a lot of the stuff, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be revealed and that's why I thought it would be a good idea to finally tell my story. Every network came to me, participate in so and so, but I said, listen, I have no interest in speaking about another man.
But you are in the book.
Yeah, right. But this, I will speak about where our paths cross and what's most relevant, and something I've been trying to say for many, many years. And unfortunately, Roseanne, even with Sean being incarcerated, that's not a celebration. There's no celebration in it. First and foremost, there's way too much collateral damage, and in many, many ways. Many people's lives are affected. And in fact, a genre of music that I grew up in is ruined right now.
You're blaming Diddy for that?
I'm blaming this entire industry and the way it's gone. And, there's no one person that's in charge, but this level and this magnitude of a story of detriment, of diabolical, just heinous, whatever's really going on. It's unfortunate.
Is Diddy suing you or threatening to sue you?
No.
No?
I have the truth.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. And again, there's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And the only reason I wanted to tell the story, Kurt, was very specifically because I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down. If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive.
Damn! How you feeling, man?
How are you
pretty
feeling?
good? How you feeling, man? You feeling good? Alex is me. Alex is me. Alex is me. Alex is me. What's back? How'd it go in there?
You be alright, nigga. You tough, right?
A lot of shit pissed me off. Like we got Diddy case going crazy, talking about all kind of crazy ass shit in these Diddy parties. We got male escorts over there that testifying saying that Cassie wanted certain things done to her and stuff like that, and she especially requested it to be done to her. And less and less Cassie looks like the victim. They expose her for hiring at least 13 different guys to bang her out and take care of her needs and desires with Diddy playing along. I'm not sure if this is helpful for the prosecution or harmful for the prosecution, but it seems that she was participating willingly. I'm not saying that some of the things that she did wasn't under duress, if you will, but Diddy couldn't have absolute control over her while she's hiring and firing some of these dudes as she's finding some of these different outlets for Diddy to have his fun. And even if you hear in the testimony as he's trying to get closer to Diddy, he starts saying, "Nah, we just having fun." So it was never a relationship like that. He was still actually with Kim Porter at that time, and for some reason, she was still with her boyfriend at the time. I believe it was a music producer, and they were actually, together for a while as Diddy is having an affair on his wife, Kim Porter, and Cassie is having, uh, you know, if you will, affair, but with a relationship, you wouldn't say affair, but is she's having her little situation with Diddy. Well, so like it's not seeming so innocent on her part when she's participating and cheating and being around this guy when she's in a relationship. They already admitted to Cassie, you know, being around this stuff willingly and not trying to get away every time the damn party started. You know what I'm saying? So the video where he's kicking her down the hallway like a goddamn soccer ball isn't um isn't a Diddy part. That's not a party. They already had security in there. They already had a couple of other people in there. They were getting into an argument. There was no prostitutes in there at that time. I don't think because they had security and everybody else there. So I don't know how you could even think that it could have been a Diddy party or anything like that. Because people were saying that she was trying to escape a Diddy party at that time while she was getting kicked down the hallway like a soccer ball. That wasn't a Diddy party. That was just an argument that might have just turned wrong. A lot of the bodyguards from Diddy is saying that Tim Porter experienced this abuse that Diddy was doing to almost every female that he, I guess, dealt with. The ones that came out pretty much saying the same thing. He was a little abusive, a little over the edge, using drugs and stuff like this. J Lo hasn't came out and said anything, but only time to tell. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. Silence acceptance, we ain't have it. Like, comment, subscribe.